Welcome to all of you for this live session with founders of Philo and Roadmetrics. These are people who have been funded by 100x. They have raised the next round of funding. Young founders, very exciting offering. They will share their practical stories, what they have understood, what they've gone through. And by the end of the session, all of you who have joined in will get some practical tips on how to handle your journey of your startup and coming to 100x. So let me quickly add first team Road Metrics. Here's Team Road Metrics. Welcome, Mishal, Dipen, and Nikhil. Welcome to this live session. You have to share with viewers what you have learned, practical tips, things they don't know about, things you have learned the hard way, but you have to tell them, okay? And now we have Team Philo. So we have Sudhanshu and Sumit. So let's get going. And viewers, whatever questions you have, don't wait. Post your questions, and I will take them as and when the questions come up. I want to make this as interactive as possible. This is a chance for you to ask questions to founders who have gone through this journey as 100x, who have raised seed fund, who have raised the next round, and who have understood and who will share practical tips with you. Let me start first straight off with you, Sudhanshu. What does Philo do? Quickly tell our viewers what Philo does and how did you think of the idea?
Hey, hi Neeraj. Hi everyone. First I'll start with how we thought of idea. So me and Sumit, we both belongs to farmer family, and we have been living at the farms and all our childhood. So we always used to think of like how we will solve the problems back at home, and that's where we started doing our calculations and I started optimizing all the idea how we can solve the problem back at home. And that's where we realize the solutions which is data driven and which will help farmers to make a data driven decisions will really help the farmers and will solve the problems back at home. And that's where we started with Philo. And Philo helps farmers to make a data driven decisions using our IoT and AI based and economy based technology.
Fantastic. Farmers can now have data driven decisions. Sumit,
Yeah.
how big is the market? Sudhanshu has said what Philo does, but how large is the market size?
If you look at the market only in India itself, there are around 160 million hectares of land on which agriculture is being done. But we are currently focused on horticulture crops. So there are around 25 million hectares of horticulture land in India, and it's increasing. The horticulture segment is increasing, and if or even if we calculate the amount that we make on our devices, then it will be around 3 billion US dollars of market only in horticulture.
Wow, that's a big market. And you are just at the beginning of this exciting journey. Let me go to Team Road Metrics and Mishal. What is the
Yeah,
genesis of Road Metrics? How did it start? Who conceived of
yeah.
the
So
idea?
yeah, so it basically started about 2 years ago when me and Dipen were like traveling to a friend's house, and like Google Maps showed us an alternative route which was supposed to be a shortcut, but like it took us like twice the time owing to like road bad conditions and like no street data available. So that when it like came to us that we should do something about this, like this kind of data set should be available for the Indian roads basically. So that's when we took it up as a project. Then like we won the best project award in our college. Then like to take this idea further, we moved to Bangalore. Then we met Nikhil, and that is how our like company and our journey started basically.
So, where did you meet Nikhil? You and Deepan are in the same college, I believe.
Yeah, me and Dipen were in the same college. Nikhil had just returned from the US after working from Tesla and Velodyne LiDAR.
Wonder why he did that. I'll come to that question, Nikhil, later. It's interesting that you told me that, so I'm going to probe him on that. But Deepan, this is a fairly deep question, but you kind of a succinct response. The government of India has recently liberalized the geospatial data mapping policy, and we've heard a lot of stories of how it's a massive liberalization for the field you are in. How does it impact road metrics? Deepan, you need to unmute. Deepan.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, thanks for asking. And that's an interesting topic. And that was a very biggest liberalization in new geospatial policy. When that happened at Feb 15, it was kind of a Diwali for us, frankly speaking. But yeah, so that increase our market significantly, not just market, but the opportunity also. So after that new geospatial policy, Street View, which was banned in India till now, was legalized. And one of the key entities from this new geospatial policy was Indian entity can only map this type of high precise data, collect and map this type of high precise data, while any foreign entity who want to enter Indian market have to tie up with the Indian entity through an API or a licensing model. So I think that is a very biggest opportunity for Indian startup to start making a new product on this. And I think this is a new Atmanirbhar Bharat we are creating.
Great. So new opportunities, new excitement, and suddenly massive opportunity. Nikhil, I'm going to ask you a personal question because Michelle told me that you came back from US working with Tesla. You are living the dream of millions of Indians who want to live that. Staying in San Jose, working for a global company. Why did you come back?
Yeah, it's a good question, Minaz. So I think when I initially started my journey in the US, my whole idea was to gain experience and then utilize that here back in India as a base. And my experience with both companies, Velodyne LiDAR, which again is a manufacturer of LiDAR sensors for a lot of self-driving cars, as well as Tesla, kind of gave me opened my eye on how the cutting edge technology works in the Bay Area in the Silicon Valley. And when I, had some experience, about a year or two of working there, I felt that it's the right time for me to come back. We have a huge opportunity here in India. The startup ecosystem is growing. It's one of the, I think, the third largest ecosystem in the world, and a lot of young talent that's coming out, and it's a huge opportunity here. So I just felt that it's the right match of experience that I gained there, plus the right time for me to come back and work on the startup ecosystem here.
So how do you feel now, 2 years down the line?
It's been a great experience, a great experience of a lot of highs and lows, good experience that I gained throughout the journey. Something which I'll keep using that in the coming days and months. Yeah, I think it's just bound to grow in the next few months. I think the future is bright. Yeah.
Future is bright. So he is.
Yeah.
Remember, startup founders. Nikhil has left great jobs at San Jose and come to live his dream for a startup, which of course 100x funded. Sudhanshu, there's questions have started, and I'm really tempted to take questions right away. So I'm going to ask you the first question from Dhairashil Deshmukh. Give a few key inputs to early stage founders raising the first round. Just let's say three tips points. Three tips.
So who are raising the first round funds, they have to reach the right VC and then build the right. Build the right traction. First, you have to build right traction. Then you have to select which stage you are, and then you have to select particular VC or particular platform where you can raise funds. So you cannot go and ask and then go and everywhere and raise funds. So you have to select your stage and who can fund you in your segment and who can fund you at your stage, and then you can appropriately drill down to few numbers and then approach those guys. So I think
Right.
this is the one of the good.
Sure. So right traction and the right VC. Having given that tip, Sudhanshu, I'm tempted to ask you, how did you come to know of 100x? How did you approach 100x? And what happened in your initial phase?
Actually, it is really an interesting story. So, everyone, in a startup will follow 100x and Sanjay Mehta. So we were following on the LinkedIn, and I saw a post from Vatsal that Sanjay will meet in Bangalore with few founders over the coffee. It was a discussion over coffee, cricket title. It was there, and I shot a mail that I want to meet Sanjay here in Bangalore, and immediately I got a reply from Vatsal that yeah, you can meet him for a couple of minutes and he will give you time. I reached there. I talked to Sanjay. So he just asked a couple of questions. So why you started this and why are you doing this? And then after two, three questions, he said, it looks good. okay, let's have one more round of discussion, and then after one more round of discussion, we were through.
After one round of discussion, you're through. So that seems very fast. Nikhil,
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead, Sudhanshu.
it is one more thing I want. I mean, I don't know. I mean, most of people may not be knowing. I mean, we were selected by 100x in March, and then all of a sudden, all the lockdown and everything happened. And we started reading news like most of the VCs are, I mean, not fulfilling the commitments and going away from their commitments. But 100x, I mean, kept all the promise, and even though it was little delayed because of the lockdown and other logistic issues, but they kept their promise, and they chose us in their classroom. So I think it is again a very good thing here.
Well, let's hope we don't get these kind of incidents of lockdown. But yes, you're right. Once 100x gives a promise, we stick to it. Nikhil, you already started getting a fan following. People are saying, "Great, Nikhil, coming back." So I'm sure they'll follow you on. Are you on Twitter or Facebook? Where can they follow you, Nikhil?
LinkedIn, Twitter, I'm there as
Great.
well.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
so
So maybe Nikhil, you should talk about your journey with 100x, Road Metrics journey with 100x.
yeah. So I think when we initially started, when Dipin and Mishal had initially started, we were kind of on a very early idea kind of stage. We just had a small a POC that we had built, a proof of concept on how this can work. And that's when I mean we had a viral video on LinkedIn as well, which one of our videos that we had shared had gone viral. And through all of that, kind of I think 100x saw something unique in our model here, a business idea. And we were actually called by Shashank and Vatsal for a meet to Mumbai. So that was in a matter of like just 2 or 3 days it was finalized. And once we were in Mumbai, we just had a day of interactions, like discussions with the whole team at 100x. And by the end of the day, we had the term sheet. So I mean, we were like, it is like a kind of like a dream come true. I mean, come true for me, especially and for Dipin and Mishal as well. Something which happened, so soon and so quickly. And that's one of the, the key, important things about 100x is that the whole process of fundraising goes quick, and that's kind of the idea is to save time for the founders and go quickly to raise the next round of funding. And that's something which was, a great experience for us as Road Metrics.
Great. So speed of decision making.
Yeah.
Deepan, let's come to a very interesting instrument. As you know, 100x has pioneered this instrument in India. We believe it has made the journey of startup founders very, very easy. What is your experience? How would you describe iSafe as an instrument?
Yeah, Shamina. So I think I describe iSafe not just as a founder friendly, but also as an investor friendly. I remember the first time we were introduced iSafe at the office of the 100x VC, where we were provided the term sheet on our first meeting only. So first, initially, me and my co-founder Nikhil thought that we have to consult some lawyer about this. But once we start reading the agreement, it's just a 4 or 5 page of agreement. I still remember once we start reading the agreement, it was so easy to understand each and every sentence, so easy to understand that we immediately signed the iSafe at that moment only. And after that, after the 100x investment only, we raised the investment of the seed round from other 5 to 6 investors through an iSafe note only. So out of these 6 investors, 2 of them is a first-time investor who invested in Road Metrics as their first startup. So for them also the iSafe, with them also the signing through the iSafe agreement was so easy to invest in any startup. So that was my experience, that it's not just a founder friendly, but also the investor friendly.
So founder friendly and investor friendly. Sudhanshu, I want to get your views on what is your advice to founders on iSafe. What would you tell them?
I think it's one of the, I mean, recently we are closing one more round, and there, I mean, which you are aware, Ninad, already. And there me and Sumit, we both had to read somewhere around 160 to 200 pages. And when we came to 100x and we got just 4-page term sheet, and you just go through in 15, 20 minutes, what can be the most easiest thing? I mean, if you're like, you don't have to hire any lawyer, you don't have to consult so many people. You just go there, simple terms, read it, and you mainly, I mean, in initial stage, what I feel the focus always should be on the business. Then spending at least, if even if you're spending 2, 3, 4 weeks of your time on investment, and during that period, it really takes you out of the business. So I think it is very important what stage you are and what you have to choose at that particular time. So if you're raising in couple of days, then it is much better.
Much better, much better. It allows you to focus. Nikhil, there's a question from Milind Telaune. He's asking, how is your experience getting the next round of investment after initial funding in iSafe from 100x?
Yeah, great. So I think having a lead investor is very useful. It builds confidence in the next set of investors who might be interested in your company, in your startup. And for that reason, so once we had the 100x brand in our company, it actually helped us in the raising the next round of investments. The investors, made a choice based on all the factors, and having the lead investor made a big impact. And that's something which really helped us. And again, with the iSafe note, which is a convertible note, which very seamless, very quick process. It was something which hardly took us a week or two to finish the whole process, and yeah, very seamless. So we were able to get more investors on board, and came a part of our seed round. Yeah.
That's great. So at 100x, we have open sourced iSafe. It's there on our website. You can always have a look at it and see it, study it. Viewers, whatever questions you have, don't hesitate. Ask them. I'm taking it up as and when they come. Let us talk about the pitch day. And Michelle, I'll come to you. You're part of class one. And in class one, we had a physical pitch day at IIT Bombay. After that, we have had virtual because of various reasons. But maybe, Vishal, you could talk about the pitch day, and Dipen and Nikhil, please add after that one or two lines, because it's important to explain to aspiring, startups and founders the importance of the pitch day, which 100x organizes. So over to you, Vishal. Tell us about your experience at pitch day.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. So basically, like it was like first of all 2 weeks of training that we got, like mentorship from all the like in all the different divisions, like from on the business side, on the like on our business model, on the tech side, on all the aspects, like Sanjay, you, Shashank, then Vatsal, everybody guided us on how we can make our startup better. Like how should we like sell our idea, how should we move forward so that we can scale up quickly. After that, like coming to the pitch day, it was like a 5-minute pitch that we had to like explain our whole business model, what we are doing, everything. And it was like a lot of nervousness was there because we were like from 2 weeks preparing for it. Then like everybody had like the chance to pitch like 5 minutes. Then like you were pitching in front of like around 300 people. Like that makes you like conscious and like very nervous basically. But once it was over, like after that, the kind of exposure that we got, like we were then like having meetings with like all the investors that came one-on-one meetings. Like they were interested in us, like how they could help us, like many like we got many leads from them. So like that was like something that we could never forget basically.
Dipen, you want to add something?
Yeah, sure, Minal. So I think rather than pitch day, preceding the pitch day, the 15 days of the mentorship was what I could never forget. It was, I think, we could never learn this that type of mentor in a year, which we learned in 15 days of period of time. And more than that, we were lucky enough to connect with all our fellow portfolio class one founders, and learn about their business model, and live with them also. So that was the very interesting part for me.
Nikhil, you want to add some quick points to your
Yeah,
experience
I mean,
of pitch day?
Yeah, I think it gives us a one-time a chance to share our journey and our story with over. I think we had over 300 guests who were investors, family offices, VCs, and so on. And since the VC community and the investor community is very small, and having this opportunity to pitch your company in front of all of them at such an early stage is something which is a huge advantage as an early stage startup. And that's something which I think is really a useful part, a very important part of having the pitch day.
Dipen, you mentioned about mentoring. Our motto is mentoring unlimited. So I'm glad you enjoyed the mentoring. Sudhanshu, I'm going to come to you and Sumit about your experience of Pitch Day. But Sumit, I'll come to you. But Sudhanshu, there's a question from Prabhu Kumar. And the question is how to raise funds for agriculture startup.
I think in current time it's very easy to raise funds for agri-tech. It's already, I mean, everyone is looking for agri-tech startups. So the main thing in agri-tech, even me and Smith, we both speak on the same thing. You have to first work on your customers and you have to solve some real problems because and most of the VCs and most of the people are not much aware of the agri-tech. And that's where you have to come up with the data and you have to show them that you are generating revenue or you are doing this particular thing. And you need to have enough data to attract that those VCs and those guys who wants to invest. So there is a challenge with the agri-tech because not many people are aware of the core agri-tech, and then that's where you need to come up with a lot of data and facts.
Okay, so agritech is now not so difficult, is what Sudhanshu is saying, but I'm sure it's not easy also. You have to be careful. Sumit, I want to ask you about your experience of pitch day, the time leading to the pitch day, on the pitch day, and subsequent. And Sudhanshu, please add after Sumit is done.
Yeah, so in our case, it was a virtual one, and all the training sessions were also virtual one. But we enjoyed it a lot. I mean, all the mentors were coming from a different backgrounds, and all the kind of batchmates that you have, they have their own journey to share with you, and you learn a lot from them. I mean, you are working in a certain problem, and they are working on a totally different problems, and even at times you can have a totally different view of the world from them, and that's interesting. I mean, to be in touch with them. And of course the training sessions that you go, there are and the training sessions are really practical one. It's not like someone who has not done anything I mean significant will come and teach you something. All the guys who have worked at ground, who have actually burnt their hands doing things, so they come and teach you. So it's really uh, things to look for. Then obviously the pitch day, because we had a virtual one, there were a lot of practice sessions, there were a lot of rehearsal sessions that Sudhanshu had to go through. So we, so I think some 100 videos he had made before coming to the final one. So full night he was working on that. So yeah, it was quite a journey, and majorly the part after that. I mean, before that, you have to go to the VCs, right? I mean, you are getting rejections and all that. Next day, if you are good enough, you see that hundreds of people are showing interest, and you have to reach out to them, and you have to you basically, we had to even select out few. I mean, we don't want to raise from kind of thing, and it was not the thing before that, right? So that was quite a shift kind of experience after that. So yeah, it was quite an amazing.
Sudhanshu, I'm hearing that after pitch day, you had a choice of plenty as opposed to approaching. So, can you tell us a little bit about your journey of pitch day?
Yeah, first, yeah, on pitch day, definitely we had the luxury of not like road metrics guys. We had so many rehearsals we could do because we had virtual pitch day, so we had that luxury of having multiple rehearsals. Post pitch day, it was, we were skeptical earlier, like whether we will get any investment or not, whether we will get any investor call or not. But I think post pitch days were totally different. I mean, we had our calendars booked for next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and from morning 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. in the evening, you have different calls with each and different investors. So it was really a tough thing. So many times, like we had to look, no, we want to raise this much only as of now, and then we have to select few people whom we have to raise with. So this was really a case.
So, Nikhil, there are questions addressed to 100x, but I'll direct it to you. It will have more credibility. You have been part of Class 1.
Yeah.
And we are sector agnostic. We have funded across so many sectors now, 39. So, Asif is asking, Does 100x invest only in tech startups? Obviously, my answer is no, but maybe you want to add. Also, Abhimanyu is asking, is 100x funding pre-seed? So maybe you can share your experiences.
Yeah. So I think yeah, 100x is definitely sector agnostic. So in our first class alone, we had the opportunity to interact with other 19 other startups, and they're all ranging from agri-tech to fintech to something like us, which is kind of like an idea stage startup. Then there's startups in the field of consumers like FMCGs, that's chocolates and so on. So there's no limitation on what kind of and what field that they prefer, anything as such. It's purely that the market has to be something good enough. It should be a good opportunity for you to tackle. That's a great step, and definitely it's sector agnostic. So we've had the opportunity to interact with a lot of startups in our first class who are in different sectors. And yeah, at any stage. So I think this is a seed, say a pre-seed, seed stage investment using an iSafe note. And again, this is a very quick process. And I think we've already spoken a lot about iSafe. So I mean, that's yeah, definitely sector agnostic. Yeah.
And
So
even in
the
class 3, I mean, 100x invested in Kerala chips. So, I mean, that is definitely not a totally tech. Definitely tech is there, but not a totally tech-based startup.
yeah,
I
Kerala
think
banana
that
chips.
yeah. So I think that 100x doesn't look at like the sectors as such. Like they look at what USP you are bringing. Like what kind of founders do you have? Like then they would look at like how the market is and all that stuff rather than the sectors. Like basically.
Correct. So it's good to hear from founders themselves rather than me telling. But the
Yeah.
answer to all the questions is yes. Pre-seed, yes. Sector agnostic, yes. Dev Shah has an interesting question. He's actually addressed it to me. But I would rather have you, one of you, respond. Maybe Deepan, you can respond. Any tips for fundraising for SaaS startups? SaaS startups. No, you've seen in the 39 there are some SaaS startups, and I think Dev Shah is pursuing a college degree. Do you want to give any tips, Deepan? Maybe I'll add after that.
Yeah, sure, Piyush. So yeah, for a software as a service, it's a very big opportunity. So if you are pursuing college degree, it's not a problem. I mean, you just for a SaaS startup, if it is not a deep tech, then you must have some sort of a POC ready for them to, so that investor can interact with the software. So in our case also, we just had an idea, but we had a very simple POC running in a local host computer only, which we showed at the time of the presentation, and they were very it was interesting. So they were convinced that it should be a big thing in future, and that's how we got an investment. So yeah, for a SaaS startup, I think there should be some sort of a POC ready for that.
So go ahead, Dev. Even if you're in pursuing college degree, we have funded startups which were pursuing college degree. We have funded people who have come from abroad and back, as Nikhil has done. So we look at the idea and we look at the founder. Sudhanshu, Nishant is again asking, what inspired Philo? I know Sumit had mentioned and you had mentioned, but quickly you could repeat it.
Sumit, I think Sumit will answer much better. Yeah.
हाँ सुमित आपने please go ahead.
So, inspiration wise, I mean, as Sudhanshu already said, we were involved in agriculture at some stage from the childhood only. But when I joined the company in Bangalore after graduating from college, and Sudhanshu was already working there, we were in the same team. So, and we both had similar background at home. And we were actually also playing cricket together in the same team. So, we used to discuss a lot. What are the problems that are there at home, and what are the problems as whole that we can solve. So that was the starting point. Then we were actually going through various sectors that where we can work, but only we could relate to the agriculture because we were from the childhood itself we were involved in that. So then we thought that what better part we can add value to the agriculture chain, full value system where we can add the most. So there were already few startups working on the supply chain. There were already few startups working on the supply side, but on production side there were few. So and there were the challenges were huge. I mean, the at least in Indian scenario, the farmers didn't have any clue how to grow basically. Whatever the seed dealer or the fertilizer guy tell them, they follow the practice. So so we thought that no, it should be agriculture is a science and it should be science and it should be a database basically. So that's when we came up with the idea of putting a device at the farm that will always capture the data. It will be running 24 by 7, sending you the data, and based on that data, will tell farmers what to do, when to do, kind of thing. So that's how the journey started. And then we shifted to, and we were working from Bangalore. All this was still a hypothesis because we were working from Bangalore. Then we thought that no, if you have to do agriculture, you have to be in the field. So then we shifted our base from Bangalore to Nashik. We started living on the fields literally. We spent nights with the farmers, understanding their problems and where we can add value and all. So that's when our journey took off. And in fact, Sasank also came to one of the farms where we were working in the very initial stage. So that's how the journey started. Basically, it was that we have to solve things at ground, and we have to be at ground to solve them.
Sure. So, if viewers, you have any last questions, please post it. All of these people are on LinkedIn. So, Prabhu Kumar, you can connect with them on LinkedIn. There's a question on single founder. Yes, 100x does fund. Obviously, like any other VC, we prefer startups, and that is a preference with more than a single founder. But yes, we have funded single founders as well. If there are any last questions, please post them right away, and then we'll start winding down this interesting session. You've raised a lot of points. Maybe I'll start by asking in simple words, Sudhanshu, in one sentence, if you have to say, why will you recommend 100x? One sentence.
Because they are true family.
Because they are true family. That's great. Vishal, one sentence.
Yeah.
Biggest change after 100x. You have seen before 100x and after 100. One sentence. Biggest change after 100x.
I think it would be the recognition and the mentorship that you get.
Recognition,
which is unlimited.
Unlimited. You're adding the word unlimited. Hopefully not an afterthought, but yes, you quickly added unlimited, which is good. Sumit, in one sentence, your advice to early stage founders seeking funding.
One is that you go to the right investors, and also if you have choice, you basically go to the right investors. That is one. Second is don't run after funding too much. If you can survive for a bit, try to work on the problem more, and then try to show at the ground what you can do with this idea, and then eventually the funding will come.
Eventually funding will come, and of course at 100x we guide you across the way from discovery, mentoring to pitch day and raising next round of funding. Dipan, one word only. I don't know if it's easy or difficult for you. One word. I allowed them all one sentence, but for you only one word. What is today, if you have to say, you've been in this journey for some time now, what is the biggest quality required for founders? One word.
Okay. Yeah. So if you ask me, I'm very optimistic and very optimistic person. So I kind of see all the movies and documentaries of the founders. So one word which I found common in all the founders, from Chris Gardner to Elon Musk, is persistence. So I think that would be my answer. That would be the biggest quality. That would be the biggest quality of any founder.
And I will circle back to Nikhil and ask the same question which I asked Sudhanshu. He had said family, but I want to ask Nikhil one sentence. Why will you recommend 100x?
100x will give you that branding, credibility, and mentorship to guide you to your next level of funding and success. Yeah, that's it.
Branding, credibility to take you to the next level of success. So here you are, viewers, 5 of them telling their real story. There are some questions, but we have answered as many as we could. If there are still any follow-up questions, please reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to take questions. All of these gentlemen are on LinkedIn. This story of these founders of Philo and Roadmetrics hopefully has inspired you. They came to 100x. We funded them, we mentored them, and they have raised the next round of funding. They are an exciting opportunity ahead of them, and we wish them all the best. I hope this last 35 minutes has inspired you enough to get into a startup mode and pursue your dreams, chase your dreams, come to 100x with the idea with a pitch deck. And if you find it good, we'll certainly fund you. Thank you again. And thank you, Dipen. Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you, Mishal. Thank you, Sumit. Thank you, Sudhanshu, for joining us. Thank you.
Thanks, Neil,
Thanks,
for having us. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Neil.
Thank you.